welcome back, guys. In this tutorial, I'll be looking into JavaScript output. In the previous, we see what the JavaScript can do for us, changing the attributes and changing the styling, using the JS to prefill form as well, and so many other things that JavaScript can help us to. But in this tutorial, I'll be looking into JavaScript output, how to output the content or the returned results from JavaScript. Maybe you want to output the sum of 20 plus 20, and you want it to show on your web page. You can use a document.write or inner HTML, just like we looked into previously. You can also use alert, which displays another window on our which displays a window on our document. You can also use a window.print, which prints the current document or window that you are on your browser at the moment. And this content that I just said now are what we will be looking into in this very short video. So open this output, index.html. I already have index.html. I could be able to make a reference to my output. Let me open a new JavaScript file, and let's name it output.js. Output.js, and let me initiate this window. I have the first one I have is JavaScript JS output first, and the first one I have will be inner HTML to change the content of the HTML, and the next one will be console.log, and another will be window.alert, and window.print, and the last one will be document.write, which is for testing purposes. So let's quickly look into how we are going to use this to solve a particular problem. Let's say we have our a p tag here with an ID of some result. Actually, I want to run a calculation here, and I want to display the results within this p tag, within this p element. So I could be able to come here to run my addition, and let's say document.getElement by ID, and the name is sum. The ID is the sum result. Sum result. I could be able to say inner HTML should be equal to let's do a heavy calculation, 300 plus 505. Okay, let's say 60 million. 60 million, one, and then close. And also the semicolon is also important, because the semicolon also tells our JavaScript that this is the end of this line, so it doesn't get from this line to another line thinking that we are still writing the same statement or expression. So So we could be able to view the output of the result of our output, the result. So I could be able to get into my index.html and also reference my output.js. So you can see the need to separate constants, to have an external script file. From the next video, I'll be putting everything inside my index.js and be using comments to separate each constant, since so that I will be able to work with one script file here. So I could to reference my output.js. This is js/output.js, and I'll close it. So if I refresh, you can see the result here. Let me remove this. So whenever I refresh, you won't see anything within this sum result. So let me just say the sum is, and then let me refresh. The sum is. So whenever I use the document.innerHTML, it will change this, the sum is, and put in the result of our calculation. So let me refresh once more. So let me uncomment this line and then refresh, and so you can see that our result shows up. So another way to do this may be to say inner HTML should be, and I'll open a string here and say the sum of 300 plus 6 million, which is supposed to be 1 0 remaining, 60 million, right? Okay, 60 million is equal to, and then I'll add a concatenation, which we will still look into. Concatenation holds both the string and concatenation is just like joining two or more words together. That's actually what concatenation does. So I'll refresh again so you can see the sum of 300, 6,000. Seems like I have a mistake here. Let me use a dot. Will it work? No. 300. Okay. Oh. Okay, I'm actually going to use a backtick to be able to do this. In JavaScript, ES6, and then open this up as well. And then we could be able to see it. So you can see the sum of 300 plus 6 million is equal to this, and when I refresh, it now gives me this. So I could be able to remove the sum is here. Okay. So the next one we'll be looking into is also console.log. So the console.log is mainly for debugging purposes. So we have a tool called developer tool that helps developers to debug whenever they have a problem. So to get your developer tool, you press the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+Shift+I for some Chrome browsers or whichever browser that you are using. You could be able to open that up with your Ctrl F12 as well, and this is your console tab. So whenever I run a console.log, this is where you are going to see it. So the console is mainly for debugging. So it's also for the window document.write as well. So I can be able to run my statements here. Let me have a general document.getElement, or let me say let x equal to 20, however, plus another 90. This should be divided by 200, and I could be able to come in here and reference my x. So actually this x here is a reference to this. So whenever I refresh or run this, I'm going to be saying that this should divide by, so I could eventually get this and relate it in here since I changed it. So whenever I'm going to use my console.log, I'm going to say console.log x. So the console.log is going to give me the output of this, the result of this. So let me refresh. Make sure x has already been declared somewhere. So it seems like it's in my index.js. So let me change it and say sum. I've declared my x within the index.js as well. Let me show you. So I've declared my var x here. Tag. I don't really need to be redeclaring it. And so you can see how the console gave me the error. So if I didn't open the console, I won't be able to see my error here. So let me change this to sum and sum. Okay, so let me refresh that. Okay, so you can see 202. This is supposed to be 2,004,500. So 2,004,500, and that's it. So I could also say I could also do some other things here. Let name equal to I am who I am, and close. So with the console.log, I can also be able to put in so many things. I can also say name, const name, which is void. Name is duplicated. Okay, sorry. I think like name is a keyword, so I could be able to use f name. I don't really know why it's showing me that error. F name. So since like name is the keyword here, someplace, so you can see I am who I am. We also have other console.table, so many consoles, but for now this is the main console.log that we normally use to debug our development. And the window that allows we always show us we always pop up another window. The alert is used to maybe show a warning whenever the user fails to do something. So let's put in a function, a little bit of a function here, that if the user doesn't do that, or let me also just show you what the window that alert does, or maybe in a later time you can be able to look into the alert more or use it more in future. So let me also say window.alert, and I could be able to show my f name. So whenever I refresh, the window.alert is going to be the first pop-up here. As you can see, this page says I am who I am, so I could be able to click OK, and that's it. So the window.alert might be used to show a warning or saying that you failed to do something or run something. And the alert, the window.alert, the window is a global object, so we could be able to use the alert f name as well instead of the window.alert. So we could use that interchangeably. Okay. And for the window.print, the window.print is used to make. Okay, actually, JavaScript doesn't have a print statement or method. So what the window.print does is to invoke the print within the browser to be able to print the document that we are currently on. So whenever I run a print on this web page, it's going to print the entire content of this web page or document that I'm on, so that I could be able to send it to maybe a printer or print it within PDF or whatever. So let me show you that window just print. Let me target my. Let me put in a button here, so that whenever I want to print this document that I'm on, I could be able to do that. Let me quickly do this on click. I should be able to get this print. So I'll be writing a function also. So output. Let me use a print. Sorry, function print. Then let me say window dot print. So what this does is to print the whole. Okay, I am who I am. Then next is supposed to be print. So let me refresh. I am who I am, and this is print. So whenever I click on this print, it's going to print this whole document. So let me close this so that I'll be able to see it. Okay. Did I connect it? So let me check. Let me debug to see if there's an error or if it's my system. Okay. Seems like I have an error. Range error, maximum cost tax as exceeded at print. Seems like I'm missing something. This is supposed to be window.print. Output window.print. I don't. Okay, let me check this. Let me put it in here and see what happens also. On click, let it print. Window.print. Let me remove this or comment it off. Let me refresh. I am who I am. Let me try and print again. Okay, so you can see if it comes up, you will still see. You can see that what the print function does is to print the current document that we are on, or the current web page that we are on. So I could be able to print to whichever destination that I want, and I could be able to click print. So that's what a window.print does. So seems like this couldn't work, and this works for us. So window.print worked for us here. And the last one that we are going to see is a document.write. The document.write is also for testing purposes, for debugging or testing purposes. So let me show you document.write. We are still going to make use of the previous sum and f names, so I could be able to target do a document.write here. Let me say whenever I click on this, you see the reason why I said I'll be making use of this index.js. So let me do it now. Let me move all this here, all the outputs here into the index.js file. Let me format this properly. Just, and so window.print, which you have already seen, document.write. So I want that whenever I click my next image, let it make a calculation, or let me give my own button and click whenever the user clicks on some, it will use the document.write to remove everything from the web page and just run just run a new document and write in our results. So that's what the document.write does. So let's create another button for that, for calculation, calc, and I'll say document.write 600 plus 600. Let me refresh and you can be able to see. Let me refresh this and who I am and the calc. And you can see what the document.write always do. The document.write replaces all the content within your document and then write the results. And that's it with the document.write. I could be able to remove it from here and also run a calc function, and place it within here. So for the document.write, so the function calc, and then paste it. Document.write standard, good. And then refresh. Who I am and the calc. You can see 1200. And so that's it with the outputs that we have in JavaScript. So these are the ways that you could be able to debug your code when in development. You can use inner HTML even in production, maybe to override the previous content of your element or in your elements. And you can use alert to maybe give a warning to your user or to do anything. And the document will get okay. And the console.log, remember, for debugging. The document.write is also for testing purposes. And which other ones? And that's it, guys. The window.print is also used to print the current document that you are on. And that's it with JavaScript output, guys. Thanks for watching.